Testing, testing, testing. Okay. Let's see. Live latency 2 seconds. That's good. Yeah. Face cam time. Because why not? All right. Just gonna. What's happening? All right, that should do it. Dang. Oh. Yeah, okay. There she is. Get this hair done with already. Oy. Okay. So it comes down like that. I'll figure it out. This indicates something far more complicated than I realize. Than the side profile indicates. But I can only do so much. What was it? T, Alt, J. There we go. Knife that, subdivide, fill that. We'll UV map that later. So all of this hair comes out behind her ear. Wait. A little like wisp of hair right there. This little one right here, just in front of her ear. See the approximate height of that. I feel like that's important to really sell the, complete the look. I set the pivot, yeah, 3D cursor, let's not do that. Put that there, and delete vertices there. Let's just delete that all. Bring those down. Been a while since I've done this. Forgotten how nice it is. Just me and this 3D modeling program, which I am not entirely qualified to use. Well, that's not confident. Let's see if I could maybe rotate it a little bit, because it does seem to implicitly curve forward somewhat. Yeah, I just gotta figure out where it connects to the rest of her hair up here. Yes. I'll make sure that these line up roughly. And no, I don't actually. I can probably guess that I'll connect it up here. The glasses are so reflective. Mm-hmm. Oops. And in we go. Okay. That should do it. Let's just do a quick UV map of this. Just want to see what it looks like. Face. No, you are hair texture. There we go. U lines here are going to straighten out. No, wait. Straighten why? No. Straighten. No. It's been a while. Align vertically. There we go. bring you over to here. Okay, so in the original here, this strand of hair is just a normal color. There we go. All right. Stream resolution is not ideal for this. Let's check something. Well, it seems to be supported. Oh, let's see, 1080, 60. Yeah, so I wonder what the issue would be. Scale to window. 2560 by 1026 is not supported. The expected resolution. Yeah, I know. This is an ultra wide monitor. But if I was to move myself over and then let's see. Can I change my No, that's not what I want to do. How do I change the size of my canvas? No. OBS needs to make this more obvious. Oh well. Hmm. Off with the hat. Bald. So the hair spreads out behind the ear. That much I've established. If I separated this, then took proportional editing, only things that were connected, and moved it out. Yeah, there we go. But first, I'm going to flip the normals. Yeah. Okay. Dang, Pina, your hair gets big. What am I supposed to do with this? Oh wait, I got an idea is forming in my head. Oh yeah. Hey, Derp Lord. Man, they really should instruct these VTuber mamas to consider the fact or the possibility that their design is going to be 3D at some point. Because he did Reno, what do I call him? Reno Mama? Reno Tuna? I mean, I like saying Reno Tuna. It's a funny name. But anyways, did not make these entirely consistent in between views. Because I got to figure out this, the way the hair splits back here, kind of cascades down. But also the fact that it comes out way like this in the back. In fact, I feel like in real life this will look really strange because it's only the hair behind the ear that goes out like this, mostly. So like from the top down, you'd have this sort of like standard hair and then boing, like just kind of forms this kind of a mushroom shape. Reference sheet wasn't made by the original mama. Huh. Haven't heard of that happening. I would think that the original mama, at least for the original outfit, does do it. Probably need to add another subdivision here. That's the other thing. I gotta hide the body. Hide the body. Hide the body as in hide the body model, not like a murder case. Yeah, because see this tip of hair right here, I've modeled it to match this. This here. But there's no indication that it goes in front of her shoulder in the front view, and typically you want to treat the front view as canonical, but this is such a specific detail that I would like to keep it, like take it into account. Well, okay. Front view is, which I say, gospel. Thinking in terms of like how shows will have like cartoons will have a show Bible, you know, all the background lore and whatnot. The smooth vertices only, but not along the z-axis. Do that again. Smooth vertices, not along the z-axis, maximum smoothing. Until Nexus. Nexus. Yeah. Who could have seen that coming? Well, at least a bunch of people got essentially free VTuber models, so good on them. Good for them. Gonna move that over and subdivide this. Triangulate that. Now we've got another face to work with. Gonna move this tip down. I have no idea how far down it goes, but I'll have to make do. Yeah. Gosh. It doesn't matter, 2D or 3D. Hair and hands and feet are a massive pain. You can't escape it. Yeah, Nexus. Well, I mean, you know what their business was and what they were trying to do and why it sounded like a terrible idea. And predisposition sounds like I formed them from the very beginning without any judgment. No, I think very hard about these sorts of things. Merge at last vertex. Do I want to do that? Maybe not, actually. Selection to cursor. Selection to cursor. Okay. No, it was... The bigger tragedy would have been if Nexus had persisted despite its very strange business model. Too many stories of VTubers who found success thanks to their agency that they would have not have found otherwise, if not for the support of their agency. It's a very strange train of logic, because they were essentially saying that only the people who are self-sustaining enough to find success anyways are the ones that are going to get support. So, and the ones that could potentially need just some more support in order to find success won't get it. Like, it's bonkers. Just yeah. Who's that? You're Oshi. Nox Orphe. Huh. Interesting. Yeah, she reminds me of... She looks like a Toho character. Is that how you pronounce it? Toho, Tuhu? But, you know. I don't mean anything of that. That's just the first thing that came to mind when I looked at her picture. Okay, so this no longer works. But here's this little cowlick here. Also does not exist on the front view, but I like it. So let's see if I can make it work. Just gonna add a vertex here, here, and there. She gets that quite bad. Okay. That makes me feel better and maybe slightly worse. But, oh well. But yeah, Nexus and Anilive. I have I've had a lot of time to form an opinion on both of those. The most jarring opinion is that I don't really trust Captain all that much. He's kind of gives me tech bro vibes. And I appreciate him for making Prison Project and introducing us to all of their talents. What I don't appreciate is him then selling it off to the one of the largest tech corporations in the world. You know, after the whole, you know, Prism is a big family kind of marketing and image that they put up. Kind of sours that message when yeah, but you know, people, you know, I know people can't stick around forever. They gotta move on and all that, but you know, from a fan's point of view, it's like, yeah, yeah. But you know, sometimes they interact on Twitter, Captain and some of the prison girls. But he always talks like one of those, you know, hire me to talk at your tech conference kind of tones. It's like very, you know, very pseudo profound and all of that. The things I learned during my time here and the things I accomplish here will never leave me. You know, it's that usual kind of wording that they like to use. Yes, that his last tweet is like, that is what we talked about at when I was talking to some of my former agents at dinner. And Rita responded to that, and I'm like, okay, yeah, sure. It's like, it's so self-effacing. Jumpstart. I don't know what I'm not aware of Jumpstart. Is Jumpstart another agency? Or is that his company? Ah, Jumpstart. Wait a second. Oh gosh, are they shutting down too? Let's see. Yeah, running prison with a small team and building everything from scratch was tough, but discovering untapped talent made life truly fulfilling. That's what I reflected on over dinner with Prism's early members today. And it's just like, I don't know how to describe it. Jumpstart. Oh, crazy stuff, huh? I love it in his bio. Founder of Prison Project, VTuber agency, acquired by Sony. You know, leaving out the part where they were just kind of left to rot afterwards, but, you know. Jumpstart. I don't know how to find out. Like, but yeah, Annie was the other, like, sour note in Nexus, but also, in my opinion, towards Captain. With the whole, like, oh, we're gonna bring all these VTubers on and partner with a sketchy agency, and Captain, after, you know, selling their after selling Prison Project, and after Prison Project shuts down, Captain just kind of emerges out of nowhere to just say, hey, sorry, you know, drops a couple of hundred, you know, drops a few hundred in akasupas and goes, hey guys, sorry to hear about Prison Project. By the way, I've got this neat new app that I'd like, that I was wondering if you could test, you know, as a favor between friends. And it's like, maybe he meant it, like, maybe the donations were genuine, but it does kind of, like, set this precedent, this atmosphere. Yeah. And so it's like, yeah, it makes me question either his motives, or if his motives are pure, his ability to read the room. Jumpstart and alive, right? That's what you said. Yeah. So gonna pull on my former employees to test out my app, which is unavailable to over half the world, or 30% of the US. You know, they're gonna do some streams that yeah, I was very vocally against it. Not least because I did not have an Apple device, but also just I thought it was a even if I had an Apple device, I probably would have I very likely would have still been like, yeah, why don't we just, wait for a bit. I don't know what to look for. Derp. I looked up Jumpstart Annie Live on Twitter. So like, is Annie Live doing their own? We're in bed with them, yeah. Yeah, and that's a good phrase. That's the kind of phrase that I would use for like, people are like, Captain is not associated. Well, I mean, Captain is not the CEO of Nexus. That's the other guy who ended up throwing a tantrum. But it's like, but he's still, yeah, as you would put it, he's still in bed with them. Like, and that reflects, as much as you can't just, associate with certain kinds of people and then say, well, my hands are clean of what they do. Like, there's an old saying about the company that you keep, right? And how it reflects on you. A lot of that trying to say that things are one way and then that makes it true somehow. So yeah, I still don't know if Captain is. I do feel like maybe not oblivious, but too like kind of doing like his thing, no matter the cost kind of thing. Like it doesn't. No, could you tell? I don't get a chance to talk. I've got way too many words and not enough people to listen to them. It is a fun subject as it is dangerous. Always have to approach these things with tact. Okay, good. I'm glad that I haven't like had any moments where I'm like, that you go, oh, slow down there. Hold up. Well, other than that incident, yeah. And what gets me is like Prism did like normally when a company says that they're like a family, that's that's a massive red flag. It's like one of the oldest pieces of advice in the book when it comes to evaluating a business and whether you should work for them or do business with them. It's like, if they describe themselves as a family, run away. But I don't know, the Prism agents kind of made it work. They did feel like a unit to at least some extent or another, more than what I've seen other agencies do, and yeah. So I guess that also feeds into my distrust of Captain, is that he actually accomplished what his, corpo speak implied and then left it. So, yeah, just rather unfortunate. What is this hair done? I just gotta ignore this entirely. This is not going to work. Yeah. Now Rita has joined up with Noah, along with Sayu. Interesting there. I really like her new look. Yeah. I just wish she didn't play gacha games so much. I I kind of feel like her frequent streaming and tacit endorsement of gacha games runs a little counter to her messages of mental wellness. Even though she herself does not spend money on gacha, it's still like, yeah. And I think gacha fans would agree with me. They're a very self-aware bunch when it comes to their culturally endorsed gambling. Well, most of them. But yeah, to them, it's a price they're willing to pay. So all the same, what I said still applies. I mean, gosh, this is gonna look weird. Maybe I'll have to take some real creative liberties about or interpretations about the overall shape of this hair. Yeah, that might be the case. In fact, I'm going to delete this because I'm going to create another line. No, wait, I can just extrude that. Yeah. Yeah, it's very faithful to her, though, I'd say. It's very Rita, like. But it is like an entirely different artist. Which is a bit of a shame. I like her original mama's art style. It's like yeah. Like that one that one talent from Idol, their Spanish branch has the same mama. Very distinct style, very unique. I like that. I like to see that in VTuber designs. Yeah. Explore a little, think outside the box a bit. I like it when the differences are not subtle. Yeah. Yeah, it's probably Japanese. Interestingly enough, I want to see what Rita's, new mama has also made, and she's only listed as a name. It's Ruby and then a couple of Japanese characters. I'm like, huh. So I had to go to Google Translate and enter just the Japanese part to get the romanization of that name, and it was like Ruby B, and then finally I could find it. For some reason, for one reason or another, Rita herself has not yet put that information on her profile or bio, nor has her new mama put Rita in her portfolio yet. I'm hoping she gets a reference sheet. That'll be cool. Yeah, but like, it is, but it's also not, because her profile is very public. Like, you just gotta, the only, the only caveat is that you gotta know where to look, is all. I'm hardly an internet detective, but yeah. And who knows? Artists are a funny bunch. Still. I started this 2 years ago. And I had meant to get it done in time for her birthday 2 years ago. Was it 2 years ago? 2 birthdays ago. So technically just over 1 year, like a little over 1 year ago. Yeah, a year ago in like a couple of months. And I got most of it done at the time. And then I kind of like lost my motivation, my drive. I have had troubles with motivation for a while, but it's so weird to have motivation problems for something that you like, especially if it's a creative endeavor for someone that you like. But yeah, and I wanted to make her a 3D model. In fact, I have plans to like have it rigged for use, animated for use in like 3D VTuber software or VR chat. Yeah. So simple as that. I know Pina is is trying to find a 3D model on Throne, but that's going at a snail's pace. So essentially, this was supposed to be my birthday gift to her. 2 birthdays ago. The hat here. Yeah. So much for that working out. Oh dear. Wait. Okay, never mind. Just gotta follow the... Oh, that's right. This is where the creative liberties have to be taken because I gotta figure out how to get her hat to... So hats are tilted back when they're worn, especially in the side view. I feel like he made a front-on reference of the hat. It's hard to say. Yeah. Yeah, I'll do it myself. Yeah, I'll do it myself, and I end up not doing it myself. Not for a very long time. All right. Technically, I did get the hair done. This is the old hair model. I also experimented with an anime tune shader for it, but that was more of just like a kind of thing. Wait, what object do I have selected again? Hair texture, yeah. But topographically, in 3D terms, it's an absolute mess. This is very, yeah, it's good if it was supposed to be stiff, but well, it won't be. It'll have to move around. Be fitted with bones, as they're called in 3D model. Like this right here, this series of very long shapes. This is, yeah, to anyone who's into 3D design, this is terrifying. So I had to redo it. As nice as it looks, I have to redo it. So now I am following standards as far as I know them. It's made of a series of squares that are smoothly deformed. Squares and triangles. This is what we call an n-gon. It needs to be, there we go, made like that. Knife that, put that there we go. So yeah, I'm hoping I can get it done. I'll just have to find someone who knows how to rig up a VR chat model. Oops, I don't know what that hotkey just did. Or I'll have to learn how to do it myself. Which I'm sure I could do that. Passion sharpens the mind, remarkably. Mark seam, so I'm gonna just UV map this real quick because I want to, yeah, UV editing. Here's where the magic happens. It's also where the most painful stuff happens because UV mapping is a pain. Well, that's redundant, but yes. So I'm going to, what was I going to do? Right. If I select these lines, align vertically, then align vertically. Hide this for a second. By doing this, I create a little shaded effect. align vertically. Go to UV map because you are in fact mapping out on the model. Each face here, or each vertice, corresponds to its map right here. And so if this square is here, that means I want whatever part of the image is enclosed by its equivalent to use that part of the image in the 3D model. So because I have this gradient here on the left edge of this square, it appears as a gradient here on the left edge of its counterpart. It's a really cool process, and yeah, like I said, massive pain to do. Align vertically. There's these, and I'm kind of using some dirty tricks here. I'm not practiced in UV modeling, or UV mapping rather. They go hand in hand, or they're sort of different parts of the same process. But I just need to be functional. I'm not quite a professional. I'm in this weird, I don't know how to gauge my own expertise. Because I've seen some, like I'm not confident in my abilities, but I've also seen some 3D models that I'm like, okay, even I can, I can clearly tell that this is great or it's horrendous. Yeah, I'm not saying this to brag, mind you, but it does require, like, 3D modeling, 3D art does take a kind of a very specific approach, kind of thinking to it. What the heck is happening here? Oh, that's just a shading thing. Yeah. Oh, I know what I have to do. Let's see, Alt N, reset vectors. There we go. And then this all needs to be shaded smooth. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah, I just spewed out a bunch of jargon that makes no sense. And I guess to get it, you kind of have to be lucky enough to kind of just have that aha moment. I can't even remember when, because I started on this. I sort of first got into 3D art when I was in my mid-teens. And then I dropped off of it for a while and then rediscovered my like for it. So it's like, how do I put it? Oh, right, that's right, that's not connected. No, I want to select the other thing. Delete this face. Just gonna do it like that. It's extremely horrendous way to do it, but not extremely. Who knows? Like, you might assume that you're doing things badly, but it turns out that the professionals just use the same clever tricks. But yeah. Do you do this often? 3D modeling, not as often as I'd like to. I mean, to be honest, I kind of want it to be my career. But I'm very terrible at keeping up habits. I could say it's ADHD, and it probably is to a good extent, but also, like, also I ask myself, isn't this your passion? Like, isn't this what you want to do? Why is the VTuber community full of people with ADHD and autism, which I also have? As for the face cam, it was kind of funny, but Incidentally, this would not have, if things had gone right, this would not have been the first time people had seen my face, because I was involved in a Sarah fan project as an actor for what was going to be a choose your own adventure FMV sort of game. Yeah, and I was one of the two. I was one of the two roles that would use our own faces because the context, the game took place in a series of video calls on the Discord server. All right. So. I mean, heck, pen pals suspect Pina herself of maybe having autism. Some very specific quirks of hers that match up very closely. But that's not, unlike ADHD, that's a kind of a step above ADHD in terms of like topics to broach and like suggestions to make. Like, hey Pina, have you hey Pina, random question, have you ever taken the RAADS? Like, just wondering, you know. We can't do that. We can't do that, but I really want to because I'm fairly confident at this point. But you know, she's at least looking at ADHD, which is a good start. It's a very good start. Ooh, let's just shrink all of these in. She doesn't have she doesn't just have some of the signs. She is very the signs like aspects of her behavior manifest in very specific ways that are they're just too specific to like for me to go to just dismiss as like a quirk. You know, for me, it's like, for example, she really likes to she's very she latches on and emulates very strongly things that she deems to be the process or the right way things are done. You can swear here. I don't swear. In fact, it's one of the reasons I like Pina is that she doesn't swear. I mean, well, it depends on what you count as a swear, but you know, this is general consensus of what we count as swearing or not. But I'm interested to see what prompts you to swear. Swearing is, after all, an outburst of emotion in verbal form. Oh, right. Why did I do all that shrinking and scaling? I completely forgot why it was out like that in the first place. Oops, that's... Years of watching Pina. Yeah, 3 years, huh? Or almost 3, just about, right? Fire away. In fact, I would say I relate to Pina in a lot of ways. That's why she's, I guess you could say she's one of my Oshis. I mean, I Oshi different people for different reasons, but Pina is certainly one of them. I should just join these up with each other. Oh, oh, Lamau. That's hardly anything. I mean, the fact that it's an acronym. Yeah, it's hard to say. I'm very bad at picking favorites in general. Um, even colors or flavors, because it depends on the context. What's your favorite color? It's like, well, it depends. Am I choosing an outfit color for my character in the game? Is it my favorite color to look at? You know? And for Oshis, it's like, how would I put it? It's like, this is my Oshi if in term is like this one, this one VTuber is my Oshi in terms of sense of humor. This other person is my Oshi because in terms of like I really like their insights, or I like another, or this is my Oshi in terms of like I really like the way that they play games. Pina is my Oshi in the sense that I'd almost say she's a person that I want to see have a lot of success. She deserves it a lot. And also, her values and beliefs line up with mine very, very heavily. And so I am very comfortable watching her. That's a funny thing to say, all things considered. But yeah. So it's almost like I like who she is as a person, and she happens to stream. Like, that's the kind of support I have for her. Sort of protective, but also sort of, it's like half protective and half adoration. Yeah. I do like people that are rays of sunshine. And I do like her wholesomeness. Yeah. This is how hair can look. Oh yeah, I watch plenty of streamers. I'm very much a DD, as they'd call it. But, still got my favorites. Still have those in particular. The ones I choose first to tell people about or recommend, depending on what they want. I do like to curate and help people find what's suited for them. Screw this back a bit more. This will be the part that... When will this be the part? We got this thing right here. This little offshoot. Really changed when you're around Nox. Oh, that's... Yeah. Yeah. That's an interesting piece of relationship advice. In general. For any relationship, it's like, who do you change for? Who do you go out of your way to treat differently? That could go both, that could go either positive or negative, but yeah. goes, that goes there at last. Yep. Slide that over. Confound this anime hair. Wait a second. Why not work on the other side for a little bit? Just as a sort of break. Before I break. VTuber 3D model breaks fan artist. Like, maybe. I mean, I recognize your name. I'm pretty wait. Yeah. Have we? Yeah. Well, there's certainly not much interacting with me and Pina streams for the past few streams. Ever since the incident. We may address the patiently waiting and very large elephant in the room. Yeah. You know, I say I enjoy Pina for being very wholesome and all of that. And having a lot of the same, like, values and principles, I guess, regarding things such as, you know, swearing, vulgar, crudeness, you know. I like all that about her. Well, for the past 3 years, every time a pen pal's requested a documakra of her, she has responded with a resounding no. Like, the idea seemed to, like, just about terrify her. And then, for her birthday, after 3 years of this, she releases one. If you ever visit her, you know, if you visit her Twitter profile in the past 2 weeks, it's been, the promotion for it has been pinned at the top. I reacted rather poorly to it. Honestly, very poorly to it. Because it was extremely confusing to me. Because Dakimakura, like, Pina has openly said that she tries to be wholesome and family friendly. Basically, you know, there are very few people that could be considered more, as fans would say so than her. So Dakimakura was just like baffling to me. 3 years is a long, long time to hold to a principle of some sort, and then very, very suddenly, like, flip the switch on. It's unusual. That usually indicates some sort of massive or severe, like, shift in perspective. But, you know, so I was not I not only felt completely dejected, so much that I sent a. Here's the problem. Dakimakras are by definition lewd, because here's how I see it. As an adult, no, well, where do I start? A Dakimakura is sold with the intent of depicting the featured character as a bedmate, you know, sleeping with you, right? I don't think that's debatable. that is like that. That's the image that it sells. And well, and so here's the second part. As an adult, the only person that would ever be seen sleeping with you, or in other words, if two adults are sleeping with each other in bed, their relationship can almost guaranteed to be assumed to be not just romantic but sexual in nature, that they have those kind of relations with each other. So yeah, it doesn't really matter how clean the art is. The idea is still there. Yeah. So in essence, Pina is selling the depiction of having her as a sexual partner. And to hear that, I think would probably mortify her. Because let's be honest, Pina is she is so wholesome and say so that she probably has not realized the full implications of releasing a Dakimakura. No one's buying it. The Dakimakuras are rarely ever depicting, a wholesome, innocent cuddle session. But here's the other thing. The art is not spicy on its surface, but it tells a very spicy story. And I don't mean the pajamas side. I mean the side that Pina doesn't think is that spicy. The side where she's wearing her new outfit, or most of it. It depicts her. Yeah, so if you are you able to bring it up like right now? Because I'm gonna go over it. She is on her back on the bed, like very exposed. That's a very vulnerable position, right? And her stockings are visible. They're on the bed, implying that she had them on when she got on the bed, and they were taken off afterwards while she was on the bed. And her collar has been, the ribbon around her collar has been untied, and it's been pulled apart, exposing more of her chest. And she's in a very, very submissive position, very defenseless. One arm is pinned under her, and the other is off to the side, not really doing much of anything. And she is slightly sweaty. She is worked up, and she is blushing, right? She has this look on her face. Now, considering how Dakimakura sells this fantasy of, however weak it may be, because it is a Dakimakura, it's still, it's still there. The Dakimakura, as it sells this fantasy of having the featured character as an intimate partner, and with this pose that she's in, being very submissive and inactive, the fantasy that I think is very clear, that the scene that this is selling, is that Pina is being undressed by the other person in this scene, that being the owner of the Dakimakura. She's being undressed, and well, when two adults are in a close relationship, and the girl is on the bed, and she is being undressed by the other person, there is only one interpretation of this. This artwork is a scene of her moments away from being undressed all the way and going at it with her lover. Yeah. So Pina thinks that the right side, that the pajama side, is the spicier part. But it's the left side that actually sells the thing that she would be most mortified by. Because as little as you watch her, I think you have a pretty good idea that this is not something Pina would normally do. Not in a million years, if she fully understood this. And that's what got me to. That's what had me react so poorly. In fact, when she announced it, I sent like, let's put it this way. It was a very mood killing super chat. She was speechless for a good 10 seconds. And then, everyone in chat, all the pen pals, as coddling as they are of her, they came in with their waves of, oh, it's not that bad, Pina, it's not that bad, it's not that spicy, and she's going, but it is spicy. Apparently the art was a little spicier than she intended, but I think she was only talking about the pajama side. The pajama side is actually rather innocent, cute even. Sure, it's exposing some of her stomach and a bit of her chest, but it's otherwise a very, like, well, actually, it's just more like a morning after waking up next to your wife or girlfriend Pina kind of image. But that's the entirety of its story. The left side is, yeah, it's like it's a textbook scene. If this artwork was a scene in a movie or a frame in a comic, I think the vast majority of people would conclude what is about to happen next. But no one told Pina this, because she wasn't going to figure it out herself. No one who knew about the imminent release of this Dakimakura beforehand informed her of the full meaning of not just a Dakimakura, but of the artwork on it. Like I said, let me clarify, like, when I said she's in a very vulnerable and submissive position, I would say that lends very heavily to the theory that she is not the one that's been undressing herself. But it's a Dakimakura. You know what they're sold for. The theme around it is these things are special. These things are very special. The intimacy, this level of intimacy between people. I find it too special to be, yeah. But it's like, it's too, this idea of intimacy between two adults, it's too special to me to reduce to this mockery of that concept, the body pillow. Take a medical sleep, not medical necessarily, but take this sleeping aid and turn it into this shallow vision of your dream relationship. And that's what Pina is selling. And the body pillows recently sold out, all 150 of them. But now this is more than intimacy, because what gets me is that if it was just intimacy, Pina in the art would not be blushing that much. She wouldn't look borderline scared, and she wouldn't look sweaty like she does. She wouldn't have that sheen of sweat on her. That's not just, like I said, it's not just some innocent cuddle session. It's something that she is anticipating, and anticipating hard. Something that she's unfamiliar with and excited for, but that kind of excitement that not like, oh man, I can't wait to get into this, but like, oh man, this is happening to me. Like, this is about to happen to me. So, yeah. I just wish I had the chance to inform her of this. Because even if you can debate back and forth, what is a body pillow? What does the art say? All of that. Considering what Pina prefers and what she likes and how she wants to be seen as, and the fact that she said that she likes to be wholesome and family friendly, which a Dakimakura most certainly is not. She deserves to know this. She deserved to know before making the decision to get one. At least to consider that information. because now she's selling a sexual fantasy of herself. Someone, whoever knew about this beforehand, has failed her, or more cynically deceived her. Which irritates me to no end. Sorry, that kind of kills the mood, but... Well, passion. We're all full of it around here. If I may leak... Oblivious, it's... Like I said, if nothing else, the fact that she's rejected it, every request for one for the past 3 years, and very suddenly, like, dove into it, that alone is, like, kind of like, oh, that's strange. Like, I watch VTubers of various levels of say-so, you could say. And, if I noticed that they were suddenly... If a VTuber that was, more crass or crude was suddenly, like, very noticeably holding back or changing their presentation without much, like, explanation, I would find that very strange. But also, sorry to Pina for leaking members content a little bit, just a little bit. For example, she asked during, I think, her last member stream, which was a long time ago, if she should try being more degen. And as she thought about how to elucidate further, she said, I don't know if I can though, guys, even if I wanted to. I don't know how to flirt. She thinks just flirting, or to her, just flirting with people is what she is in her description of degen. Like, that's surface level. That barely qualifies. So, I think, not oblivious, but in terms of what she considers to match certain threshold, in terms of what she, like, in terms of what kind of thresholds meet her definition of various concepts, yeah, I would say that releasing a documakara is extremely out of character. So something happened. So with that in mind, what I'm thinking happened is either she suddenly decided that she was going to start releasing more spicy merch of herself, knowing full well what it was. I know she's also very sheltered, and I don't want to. I don't mean to, like. I don't want to be condescending. Just, that's just how some people were raised. I'd certainly like to make her more aware of things. Well, not me personally, but, just I'd like her to be more aware of things. But there is very much that she does not know. Recently on Twitter, she had to be explained what raw dogging was. It's rather unpleasant for her. I mean, honestly, that would just really be her figuring out just how much modern internet slang is sexual in nature. It's like, yeah. So she's both not aware of long-standing concepts, but also doesn't come across concepts very often. I might have repeated myself, but yeah, she doesn't come across new concepts very often. However, she spends her personal time, or the kind of, circles she associates with in her, in her private time. Could be that. Yeah, that's certainly a part of it. Like, she may have come across certain concepts or words that she could have known about, but didn't fully grasp. But also, her mind just doesn't work that way. Her mind doesn't go to like her. She doesn't assume any. She like especially in context of the VTuber community and the anime community in general, which is generally a very horny community. Her mind does not default to thinking, hmm, if I think of this from a, if I think of this from a degen point of view, will it make sense? Like, she doesn't do that. And yeah, it's and to get into VTubing while avoiding somehow avoiding so much of this information is interesting. It's impressive. Kind of reminds me of Rosemi from Niji Sanji, but very similar. Like, the Rosemi will take a new word and just dive into using it. Yeah, yeah, and that's a somewhat older slang. Older, older in terms of internet time. But yeah, that's definitely like, yeah, that's a good equivalent to reference. Yeah, it's funny. Like growing up, I thought like you kind of get the impression that people who speak more languages or who have like two main languages, it's like wow, they know twice the language. Turns out they know half the languages of each, or they know only slightly more than half the languages of each. And in terms of culture, because language and culture are closely interlinked, they only experience half the culture of each. Like she doesn't get a lot of references that we make or that others make. I mean, speaking two languages already puts people on a league above, but there is a sort of trade-off. My gosh, what am I doing with this? But yeah. Yeah, back to that. I don't think if Pina was made fully aware of the implications of a body pillow and decided to do this anyways, all I can say is I would be extremely surprised if that's true. Like that's like out of nowhere. Could not imagine in 100 years. That's because I've been watching for a long time. You kind of get a good idea of what people like and what they prefer and all that stuff. That's just what happens when you observe someone for a long time, like you would with a streamer who makes content. And in the end, I just really want to know what happened. Understanding things is how that's the fulfilling thing for me. I like to understand. Understanding, you could say, is how I heal. It really is, though. If I understand the source of an action, of a thing, whether it be a problem or something positive, I gain a lot more from it. In this case, something has happened that has left me extremely confused, which has the opposite effect. It's nearly distressing. Not as serious as it was when I was younger, but it's still like it itches at my mind. Makes me wonder for a while. And trust me, I guess I should clarify. I know Pina's an adult. I know she can make her own choices and all of that. And, she can do what she wants. But then my mind goes, well, what she wanted for the longest time is not to release a Dakimakura or associate at all with, sexual content in general. You know, when it comes to content creation and making a name for yourself, and you know, precedent and image is everything, and drastic changes to your image and presentation is not something to be taken lightly. He yelled at you. Yeah. Even her yelling is so unsevere. Like, she doesn't get angry. She gets like exacerbated, but not quite angry, I feel like. And honestly, like my little stunt in sending that super chat that killed the mood when she released that merch has gotten me essentially ostracized from the pen pal community at large. They don't like me. They don't like. Yeah. She's stern. She gets stern and like tired, like a tired teacher or parent. But yeah. But no, the pen pals don't like me. Most of them. Ironically, it's because well, when Pina revealed the merch, she herself could barely bring herself. She can barely stand to look at it. She openly said so herself. Like, especially the side that she thinks is the spicier side. And it's like, I agree with her. Yeah, I don't know. I'm certainly never going back to the. I'm certainly not welcome back in the bioreactor Discord server. And I, you know, long before that, I've established myself as a reputation for being quite grumpy and stern. You know, usually as a result of the shenanigans of the pen pals who know about 3 different jokes between them. And to this day, ever since the birthday stream, when she released the merch, I am blocked in Pina's channel. I am none of my live chat messages do not appear there, and any comments I've ever left on any of her posts or VODs are hidden. And yet, she still interacts with me on Twitter. She still likes my tweets. She's even replied to me. Nothing's changed in terms of how we interact. So, I don't know. Maybe I assume it's Leslie that did all that. Leslie, her best mod. If Pina's goal is to be wholesome and family friendly, yeah, but for how long? Temporary, for how long? How long? Because I ain't changing. I'll be as stern as I want. Like, Leslie's told me off a couple of times to say, hey, stop saying things that'll make her insecure. And it's like, well, that seems to just encompass anything that is criticism. And like, I don't want her to feel insecure, but I also want her to grow and improve. You know, adjustments that'll have her be taken more seriously and leave a better first impression without compromising the parts of her that make her great in my eyes. You know. Her voice has changed too. Her voice. I looked at an old VOD, and her voice these days sounds more strained, tighter, like she's squeezing out the words. Her voice back then came out easier, loose, more sing-songy. Yeah, no, I mean, I guess I was kind of hoping that my time, my long time in the pen pal community, and as a fan of Pina, would mean that my words are received a bit better, and maybe they are. Gosh, like the big irony, the twisted irony of all of this is that I clash with the pen pals a lot as a whole because I resemble Pina the most. Like I don't like excessively vulgar content or sexual content. Um, I like people who are say so. I myself am not quite as say so as Pina. I try to be, but and it certainly doesn't come through because I come across as grumpy all the time, but I do appreciate that a lot. And so I agree with Pina the most in terms of principles and preferences and or values, all that stuff, all that core being that makes that would be described as a personality or your essence. Yeah, I'm getting kind of philosophical, I guess. But you get my point. I never cared for Demon Pina, that little RP thing she does at Halloween. And she didn't really either. She had planned she did a Demon Pina ASMR stream, um, and then made it members only because she's too embarrassed. And then she dropped the Demon Pina bit. She had planned to do it for the whole week, but she didn't want to keep it up for a whole week because it's not her. She couldn't bring herself to do it. And I agreed. I'm like, yeah, this Demon Pina is really not you. It's not natural for you. So it's like, focus on what makes you good. In the same boat as the moment. Yeah, I get it. Like, sorry, I didn't mean to sound dismissive. But it is a tough thing to like. I'm very conscious of this idea of getting too attached to someone, or whether in a Delulu sense, like, oh my gosh, like, this VTuber is my wife or whatever, but also in the sense of like, if I could describe it in a few words. No, it can't be described in a few words. But well, one, I want to make sure Pina knows what she is doing. And Pina wears her emotions on her sleeve. She's very, yeah, she she is the opposite of a tsundere. She feels things and it affects her right there in the moment. So she's kind of so that helps in terms of like figuring her out because you get a very real time perspective on how she reacts to things and how she feels about certain things. But I want her to know, like, I want to make sure she knows what she's getting, what she's doing, what she's getting herself into, and I I believe that emphasizing the parts of her that she already excels at, that already sets her apart. In this case, her focus on being wholesome and all that. That's what will make her successful. If I would like, if I could have delusions of grandeur in her for her sake, the only thing holding her back is confidence and, well, the classic luck of being a content creator trying to put yourself out there. The thing that, you know, and the best you can do is wait for luck to find you. Maybe, weigh the dice in your favor through connections and promotion. But when it comes to get you, you kind of make sure who you appear as to everyone is who you want to be. Make sure you have a plan. And I worry that Pina knew who she wanted to be. Pina had a better idea of who she wanted to be as Pina Penguin back then than she does now. That whole thing that I said where, like, looking at old VODs, her voice sounds more strained, more stressed. Or not stressed, but like there's a certain tension to it. And the way she presents herself. And some of the verbal tics she's picked up, it's like. And I guess this sounds overly analytical, but, again, I have been watching her for about 3 years. You know, that's a good amount of time to. That's a decent amount of time to observe someone or to learn about someone. And it's like, and there's this thing in the back of my mind where it's like, I don't know everything. I don't know the kind of, I don't know who, I don't know the specifics, who she secretly is, like, but, it's online. It's VTubing as far as oh yeah. I'm gonna grab a water. Mhm. Huh. Oh dear, what the heck? Ah, dang it. There we go. Hmm. How do I bring this in? Okay, so that'll be its own thing. Suddenly a lot quieter. Bring that down some. Okay, but then Just deleted all of these and then got these in more. Okay, yeah. I'll be here probably. Yeah, I'll be here. I think that little tuft of hair is done, so oh, hmm. I have Reese's cups. Good stuff. seam, UV map. Yeah. Align vertically, align vertically, align vertically. Oh, hello. Welcome back. I want to say I appreciate you sticking around and listening to me ramble about things. Yeah. Well, this has been important to me. I've needed this opportunity to air out my feelings about these sorts of things and recent events. Thanks. Oh man, how do these artists do it? But yeah, I kind of forgot what I was saying. It's probably some deep dive into but yeah. I'm supposed to summarize. I feel like something, I don't know what, but I feel like something wrong has happened. Or or I guess it'd be easier to say I'd like to know if something wrong has happened, because by most by many measures it kind of looks like something has. I could be wrong, but that's not looking, the odds are not looking favorable for that conclusion. Has it? Still, I don't know when I'll be accepted back into the pen pal community. People used to like my other pen pals used to like my replies on Twitter to Pina, just like they do with everyone else, but these days Pina's the only one that does that. I've had a couple of hostile replies too. Granted, yeah. And Pina would care about all this, because she's like that. Yeah, but she also, I'm under the very strong impression, and I'm fairly confident this is the case, that she leaves any and all moderation and community management decisions to Leslie. And Leslie does not like me. No, I'm very confident if anyone doesn't like me, it's Leslie. Granted, the feeling is very mutual. I don't like Leslie. He draws explicit art and is more than happy to encourage Pina to act in more degen ways, especially in ways that you know he frequently draws her in sexual ways. So no, I don't. I think Leslie is. I think Leslie and I consider each other antagonists. Yeah, but that's the other thing. Leslie is effectively the leader of the pen pal community, being the one that determines what can and can't be said. He also runs the bioreactor. So he determines as both mod and server owner what can and can't be said about Pina on and off stream, in the fan spaces on and off stream. And as the de facto leader, he leads by example. And the example he leads by is by finding every excuse that he can to draw Pina in unwholesome or sexual ways. So, you kind of see where I'm going with this. But I guess he's best mod because he can copy and paste links in chat really quickly and provide reminders to Pina to do things. Yeah. So it's like, I don't know if I'd want to go back. I mean, technically I did leave the pen pal bioreactor, but that's only because I knew Leslie was probably going to ban me. But even if I was allowed back, I would not want to. Is aware of I would not be surprised in the slightest if Pina did not know. Because he trusts Leslie that much to take care of things and to be in sync with her. Like she's like, she's I mean, she could be, but like I haven't really been told anything. There's no indication. Yeah, she comments on the lewd post with an embarrassed face. And on the latest one, where Leslie drew her as Demon Pina with more skin exposed than she's usually fine with, she said, "Guys, my mod needs a bonking." And it's like, I'm getting mixed messages because one time, when she replied with, like, in a very embarrassed way to a lewd piece of fan art of her, I said, "Pina, if I didn't know any better, I would think that you want to encourage these kinds of art by always replying to them." And she replied to me, "Doing this encourages them?" I'm like, yes, it does. She was like, but is she all right with it because she herself is fine, or because she's doing so to accommodate her fans who insist on making that kind of art? Because Pina is definitely the kind of person to do the second thing. She's very conflict averse, said so herself. She, yeah. Again, I am open to being corrected on this, but of course she will not say anything. Because she doesn't like to oppose people personally. With the exceptions of being like, well, for a long time. Stand her ground. Yeah, no, no. She's very bad at. She's very bad at asserting herself. Except for a few, like, except for the few choice aspects, she is. And I'm pretty sure she has indicated as much, but it's like, sorry, I don't want to keep like shooting down your suggestions, but again, watching for 3 years, you know this patterns about people, and she does not. Yeah, she doesn't. She doesn't assert herself. Both in terms of like, both in terms of antagonistic interactions, but also in terms of self promotion. Both but in both sides of this positive and negative context, she is not. She does not like. She's not comfortable with it, and I get it. Not many people are. But if she wants to make a name for herself and create boundaries in which she can be comfortable, she needs to learn how to do that. And I really want her to learn how to do that. I really do. But I'm just a viewer, you know? It kind of sucks. Like, she is a person that I think deserves everything she wants. And I can only do so much. It's just another name with a text box next to it. I know I'm no more than that, you know? I'm just the grumpy pen pal who tells really good puns every so often. But I can't be more than that. It's not heartbreak I'm feeling, it's not that sort of thing, but it is like, it's moroseness. Yeah. These strangers you meet online, right? These people you learn about and encounter online. Who knows, hundreds, thousands of miles away. I suppose that's a form of parasocialism, but you try to make something good out of it. You know? Is that so wrong? You try to make something good out of these one-sided relations you create with these people. You don't wish you could be more, but you do wish you could do more. And, to do more requires to be more. I wish I was in a position to do more about Prison Project. Somehow, some way, contribute in a way that prevented its shutting down, maybe. There's so many examples of that. I'm just like, accept it how it is. Well, I'm good at letting go of things where I feel like I have no control. And I obsess over things that were unfavorable outcomes that I definitely feel that I could have done something about. But in between that is this limbo space where you don't know what you could have done because there's just too many unknowns. Yeah. And I don't like not knowing. Like I said, I don't like, or understanding is how I connect to the world. And I like to help other people understand. I like to teach. It's one of the most fulfilling things that I ever get the privilege to perform in life, is to bring that knowledge to other people. And so how fulfilling would it be if I could do that, if I could do the same to one of my favorite people online, I guess you could say. Simple, yeah, how important. Yeah. But as of right now, and for an indeterminable amount of time, I can't show up to her streams. She doesn't know I'm there. Because I'm blocked. And I don't know when that's going to change. Maybe never. If Leslie has his way, maybe I'm just to fade away. Eventually lose heart. Lose my heart. But I'm stubborn. I'm a bit stubborn like that. No. Until I literally, like, until it actually starts to harm me in ways that are noticeable, or until Pina herself tells me to stop, I find it very hard to let go. Now, I'm not gonna make an idiot of myself again, but I don't plan to do that. Yeah. Well, you've helped a lot just by giving me a venue to, well, vent, but also, you know, in venting and rambling, I learn a bit more in the process. Talk things out. Look at you. Random fan, you know, you're a random viewer that barely interact with me, another viewer. But you've made a difference. Thanks. Look at this. I'm very proud of what I've done so far. It's not perfect. It's not professional. Kind of taking some shortcuts here and there, but dang it, I think it looks generally good. Very proud of how the she's got spats on, and there's a black bar underneath, so, you know. At least I think those are spats. I don't actually really know what spats are. Anyways, I'm very proud of how this all turned out. I even got the shoes down to a level that I'm like, dang, yeah, that's... Yeah. This is my first humanoid that I've ever modeled. I've mainly done vehicles and weapons before. The sash was a challenge to get right. That was a pain. The hat was actually the first part of the model of any of this that I made. Well, she's from this angle. Well, no, there's more hair back here that should be. Oh, and the hair doesn't fit, but yeah. Yeah, it's just, I know how to start, and I know what the end is going to look like. Just all the in between, that's a big pain. And I have no idea how I'm going to 3D model this at this point. Or at least not in a way that is convenient. It's probably going to be painful. But yeah. So as Nox is continuing her streaming after Nexus, right? Pat, pat, pat. Pat, pat. uh, oh, that's cool. Hey. Knox. Wait. Is that her name? Right? I'll just scroll up. Knox Orphe, right? Hmm. Oh. Can't make any promises. Hers would be a... Oh gosh, well, her outfit would be even harder than Pina's. I was gonna say maybe I'll add her to my mental list of models I want, fan models I want to make, but ooh, that dress and everything was would be a doozy. This is bad enough. Pina's outfit is like, it's this skirt is a layer, and this thing is a layer here, and then this is another layer to like, and you have to make it all fit together. That was the hardest part. The apron, I guess, the bib, I think it would be called. Yeah, really proud of how I got the pockets to work. Like, it look actual pocket. Because I had to do some interpretation here because it doesn't quite work out 3D. I actually had to. This would not have worked because from the side that would have exposed. It would have exposed a lot. Let me think. Like up here. Yeah, it would have been. It would have like the skirt would have swept up to here, and you could see that that's like, that's where the part that you would rather not show starts to show. So I had to like go, nope, it's a regular skirt. It goes down and around like everything else. These buttons, I feel like I could have done better with them, but I'm not a 2D artist. So I just had to kind of eyeball recreating the design, but then I was able to just duplicate them like that, and then place them all over. I paste them here and there and down here. And Rena Tuna was kind enough to leave a note saying this is the same decoration from the armband, this bell. And so I took it from here. I'm proud of how I got this bell to look. Yeah, this is something I can be proud of. But it was in making this model that I realized, how are her sleeves attached? They're completely separate from the rest of her clothing, so she needs some sort of like... JD drew fan art of this conversation we had in the Discord a long time ago. It was like he'd envisioned like these kind of these cinched up armband kind of things with Velcro or interior pop buttons, and then she would attach them there. Tape. Yeah. I had to fiddle with her chest size too. In fact, it's technically smaller than the still quite, still there very much. And I learned that apparently Pina was originally supposed to be flat. And then when Captain interviewed her, he said he thought to himself, this is according to Ami, Frog Girl, who's also Phoebe, as she's openly stated. Apparently, when Captain interviewed Pina for the auditions, he was like, she's got an One-san vibe. Make her boobs bigger. Like, that was the train of logic. I'm like, well, I have two issues with that. One, why does an One-san need to be, why does an One-san need to have larger breasts? Like, think outside the box a little, give us a little variety. Why do you have to go with tropes? A flat Onesan, actually, like, yeah, that's cool. But also, like, Pina Onesan? I mean, I don't know if I completely. She acts as much. She comes off as much of a little sister as she does an older sister. She's fairly balanced between the two. Which yeah, which it also apparently explains some of the inconsistencies between her front and side views. Um, like this does not. This size right here does not match up with this. In fact, if you notice the apron part here, it covers a lot of her side here. But here it's like narrowed down, but also only covers like two-thirds. So yeah, you could definitely see how you could almost imagine how they were used that from here to here was a straighter line. Yeah. Dang it, I keep forgetting. This is almost like a personal self-running running joke. I keep forgetting to add the chains every time I've worked on this 3D model. Why don't I do that? Chain is same color as. Do I make it a 3D model or do I make it like a transparent texture that looks like a chain? Oh, what's going on here? You are not matched up with your counterpart, buddy. 0? No, wait, whoops, not that. 0. Let's take you, normal, duplicate. Let's see. Mirror. Add to quick favorites. X global. Oh, you are. Oh, that's what's wrong. The apron part. This part's too far forward. Dang, that kind of throws off my groove. Very careful here. Oh, I have it set to mirror right now. Whoops. Wait. Did it do it? No, it didn't, because this is asymmetrical. I didn't ask about the romantic preferences of this 3D model. No, asymmetrical. That's a terrible joke I've had in my mind for a while. I'm always afraid to tell it because I don't know, like, it's rare that, like, I feel like whoever I'm telling it to, especially online, will take it well. Okay, that looks better. It's no longer clipping as much. How did it look in the lore video? Well, I mean, this was probably early on. It's probably early on and like before but that is interesting. Yeah, that's a good idea to look at. It's annoying is that Pina, her name is Pina Penguin and like everywhere else, but on the VTuber wiki they use Japanese name order, so her name on the VTuber wiki is Penguin Pina, and I don't know how they came to do that. Debut stream, self-introduction. I once showed my dad the early draft of this model because, you know, I like to, you know, I like to let my parents know what I'm up to. When I showed him this model, the first thing he noticed was, oh yeah, I bet you like how exposed her thighs are. And I'm like, okay, Dad, like, she didn't choose the model. Like, it was assigned to her by her agency. Like, come on. Yeah. Oh yeah, her Reddit account. I remember she's posted there about twice. Well, he's more like teasing me. He wasn't like teasing me in the sense of you know, I see what you're up to, son. Like, no, it's a okay. There's prologue, the origin of Pina Penguin. 3 years ago. Dang. What was I doing 3 years ago? Something about war. No, her chest is her current canon size. This was probably made after she was interviewed and accepted into prison. I don't think I don't think there are any public versions of Petan Pina of Pina Petan exists like anywhere. Yeah. But yeah, it does kind of annoy me. It's like, oh, she's an older sister. Make her boobs bigger. Like, come on, Captain. Like, can't you? Let me think. But also, I disagree with the analysis that Pina can be solely described as an Onesan. So my issues are twofold. One, conforming to stereotypes too closely, and two, uh, his analysis in the first place. Yeah, but you know that's the least of my problems with Captain. I wonder what tech venture he's gonna go be up to next time. Hmm. And I'm thinking like, would this look good in motion in VR chat? And yeah, it's a little derpy looking. I don't fully understand how to make a 3D anime face. Granted, I don't think a lot of people making 3D anime models know that either. Yeah. Boy, yo, yo, yo. Yeah, I actually did post. I actually did do a variation of this and posted her meme tag one time. It's pretty funny. If you liked it. The bow was a notable challenge, and I actually just I just cut and pasted this onto the texture sheet from her reference model. There is a full body underneath, but it does have underwear, and it's a reference. You know, the stuff you don't need in the final export is deleted afterwards. But I really don't want to accidentally hide her clothes and have it show up. That would be embarrassing. Yeah, like, wait. Oh, wait. Did she? Oh, she posted 15 minutes ago. Anyways, she, she used that picture when talking about taxes? Let's see, search from Pina Ping and taxes. I don't see that as an image. Doing taxes, wonderful taxes. King John. Oh, if you're talking about the averted eyes with her Lethal Company outfit, no, that was the Vroid model that Yura made for her. But you did say taxes. Oh, oh, why? Oh, wait. More like, oh, I didn't see that part of. I didn't see that you said that. Somehow I skipped right over it. More like an adult woman friend, like, yeah, 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 that too. I'd certainly say so. Um, but gosh, I just realized in Blender because this is OBS, so it just had her body outlines this whole time. But yeah, yeah, definitely. She like a coworker that you're on good terms with. Very casual. Ah. Hmm. Yeah. Adult female friend. World could certainly use more Pina, more people like her. I really, that's like the highest compliment I could give her. If there's more people like her, the world would be better off. Much better off. And in a lot of ways, she is better than me. In a lot of aspects. She's a better person than me. No, not to put myself down, but like, it's that's like for me that's like the pinnacle of how to express my adoration for someone is to call them essentially my superior because that's not something I afford to people often. I'm both anxious and a little bit arrogant at times. It's kind of a my family, especially on my dad's side, has kind of a stubborn streak in them. So probably lends to my perceived grumpiness from the pen pals. Well, I guess if you more regularly watched Pina, not to say that as like a sort of if you only watched, but like because I watch I'm there at basically every stream and I tend to make like kind of grumpy toned often passive aggressive comments whenever the pen pals did something that I didn't think Pina would like or personally I didn't like. Like for example, I always like tease the pen pals or get on their case about the fact that they constantly make the same jokes, usually about the bioreactor or going to war for Costco or raiding Costco or um what's the other thing? Bioreactor fuel, Costco. And there's a third thing. There's definitely a third thing. Yes, they only have about 4 jokes, and they've been saying the same jokes for the past 3 years. It's like, I'm going to go crazy. And Pina reacts the same way every time. No! We're not raiding Costco. We're not. Don't jump into the bioreactor. No, no. I can hear it clearly in my head because she delivered it the same way every time. And in essence, this means that it is not 3 or 4 jokes. It is the same joke because it's the same punchline. Pen pals declare that they're going to do something that Pina does not like, and Pina responds with a resounding no. And the pen pals love that, which is why they keep doing it, because Pina enables it. But it is the same joke. And it's like, can we do something else? Yeah, it's like, I get it. Like, running jokes are a good way for the community to bond, right? To connect. Like, it's a very accessible way to both introduce yourself to the community by learning its in-jokes and to maintain kind of a broad relevance in that community. But in this case, it does kind of feel like it's had a negative effect and has led to like kind of complacency and lack of ambition and creativity, I feel. Or an encouragement of less creativity. And they kind of, and I guess like I wouldn't have a problem with it if they were more creative about when they bring up those jokes, you know? Like, you know, if we're talking about bioreactor, for example, it's like if Pina in a video game comes across a structure that looks like a big generator, complicated machine, it will be funny to say, "Hey, Pina, it looks like the bioreactor." You know, let's all jump like, "Hey, Pina," or no, here would be a good way to do it. She comes across a big piece of machinery. Yeah, she comes across a piece of complicated looking machinery, and you send a little wink, wink, nudge, nudge message or super chat that says, "I don't know, Pina. I feel the strange urge to jump into that machine." And see, that's a clever way to do the bioreactor joke because it'll get the gears turning and be like, what? It's like, wait, why do they want to jump into it? The only thing they want to jump into is a bioreactor. No, it doesn't look. It doesn't look like a bioreactor. Stop saying that, pen pals. That would be funny. I would think that's funny. I would probably make that joke myself if that scenario ever came up. But bioreactor jokes have just become like so poisons to me at this point that it's like, I can't even consider it. Mm. And then what gets annoying for, yeah, but it's I'm considering in aggregate over the past period of time. What really gets me about in jokes in communities is when the VTuber or streamer does community submission events like Pina Punch, that thing she does where people make memes, or when she plays Jackbox, things like Jackbox, and the winners are almost always the same in joke. I think over half the entries from Pina Punch were bioreactor references. Ashamedly, even mine was a bioreactor joke. But like, what was it? It was like 16 entries, or maybe it was like 8 out of 12 entries, or like 10 out of 16 entries were bioreactor. Yeah, maybe it's just maybe, yeah. They just the pen pals just kind of bring it up these in jokes whenever it's remotely relevant. They're not, have a bit of tact. Don't like it's like when you taste or smell something so much that it stops being noticeable. It stops having an effect. That's how I feel about these jokes. It's like they're well past their prime. It's gum that you've been chewing for 5 hours. Pawn, yes, pawn. I don't think Pina is pawn as she thinks, or as the pen pals say. She's bilingual, and she's a streamer. Like, I've been playing Helldivers a lot. I'm a big fan of the game. Trying to fight and form coherent sentences at the same time with a voice chat is, as it turns out, a lot harder than you'd expect. And that's just playing by myself with or that's just me just playing a game and talking to people. And so for a streamer, I can't imagine like the amount of parallel processes going on in their brain. But that's all we see of Pina is in the context of her streaming and having to multitask both her actions and what she's saying and managing her stream itself and all of that. Yeah, I definitely feel that I take longer to think of things when I'm doing 3D. Like, if I'm talking, most of my actions in Blender are just to rotate the camera and nudge vertices a little bit. Or I'm talking very specifically about the exact thing that I'm doing. But it's not productive. I'm trying to express sympathy towards Pina and all other streamers. Let me have this. Let me give the benefit of the doubt to them. Or afford them that. Yeah. My beard's normally longer, but sometimes I shave it off. I normally have a good, not quite goatee, but there's a nice bit of coverage here. I like it. It only takes like a week to grow back though. But yeah. Oh, right. I was gonna say no, wait. I already explained why this, if things had worked out, this would not have been the first time my face was seen. Yeah, that project didn't work out. Hui. That's the second VTuber fan project I've been part of that did not work out. Oh, you want to hear about the first one? I was part of a fan. I was a fan of Luca Kaneshiro from Niji Sanji, and I was in his fan server, and people wanted to make a VR chat world for him, and I was on the 3D team naturally. Yeah. Gosh, I should be a VTuber. I mean, I do want to. I have a whole model planned out and lore and the name and everything. So if you ever see a handsome anime face with a familiar voice show up sometime in the future, you'll have exclusive knowledge. But yeah. Time, commitments, lack of drive, because I'd have to make the model myself and rig it up. I don't have the funds to have someone else do it for me, and I am capable, but well, it's not just like, it's all the it's all this stuff that ails a lot of artists or other creative type people who want with ambitions that and pipe dreams or side projects. The people working on the people trying to make fixer-uppers of old cars, or the people making sculptures and knitting quilts that sit in their closet half done collecting dust. The usual. Middling model for 300. Yeah, I see. I don't. Yeah. I'm not in the best financial position, or I'm not in a position to have that kind of extra cash to invest in things like that. And I have thought about, opening up my own commissions to make 3D assets for other people but I'm also not the most confident in my abilities. And you know, you look at this and it's like, oh my gosh, like what are you talking about? But there's a world difference between what is impressive and what is marketable. Maybe that world difference is not that large, but it's still there. Yeah, let's do something funny here. Extrude region, extrude along normals. Ooh, 3D Pina with 3D hair. Let me switch it to rendering mode. Build my portfolio, yeah. Pina after using the hair dryer. Wait, this is kind of cute in a vague way. I do like poofy, voluminous hair in character designs. I like it when it's fluffy. Yeah. But I'll have to remember to do that again whenever I finish this hair. Of course, I could also do something cursed. Oh gosh. Okay, I'm not doing that again. I'm like, it looks like Pina has allergies. No, no, no. It's far, far worse than that. Look like it's having skin condition or something. Yeah, the powers of a 3D artist are... Yeah, and like I was thinking, you know, I would make fan-made 3D models of indie VTubers to make a name for myself. And I'd, you know, initially I'd give them as gifts just because I like that VTuber. And I do have a short list of those that I want. It includes a few indies that, you know, have like a couple dozen viewers that I've come across. And it includes people like, I would like to make, for example, a fan-made model for some of the Pixel Link girls and maybe give Rita, give a shot at making Rita a design. I think she'd like that. She's also into the whole, you know, performing idol thing. She's released a lot of covers recently. And kind of surprised she and Pina did not don't interact more. They're very, you know, they're quite similar in personality. But, you know, she's kind of off doing her own thing with her own people now that she's found, so yeah. Well, there's not shipping, but friend shipping. Oh wait, if I select all of these and then individual origins and then binormals and then no, that didn't work at all. Wait, how do I... Cool. There should have been a way to transform. How much I don't know. I don't know how much I charge. That's the other issue, and this happens with all, you know, creative types who want to do commissions. We have no idea how to value our work. In a general sense, I know when someone is severely undercharging for their work, but I suffer from the same problem, or I'm not much like, it's like It's like you know when someone's doing something wrong, but you're not quite as capable of telling them how to do it right. And people like look at, people say, look at examples of what other people are charging, and it's like, but I don't know if I offer the same level of service as these people. You know? How do I know? This pretty, until I reach that point, I don't, it's not comparable. Like I can't compare because I don't feel like, oh, I have no idea how long I've spent on this model. I mean, I've learned a lot. This model is as much of a learning process as it is a fan project. Like I said, it is my first humanoid that I've ever modeled. So this isn't something, and that's the other thing. I would give some of these models to indie VTubers for free as a gift for free because I could not. I don't feel like, I don't think that I am good enough to charge for that sort of thing yet. My conundrum is hardly unique to myself. But man, I wish I had the answer. Or a better one a better answer than just shrugging. But yeah, I put hours into it. And that was just for the first draft. And now I'm redoing the hair. If we're just charging by hours, then yeah, this model probably costs me in terms of labor hours, hundreds of dollars at this point. It's hard to tell because it's a fan project, because it's just something I'm doing when I can in terms of time and energy. I'm not making it like a professional. Oh man. Yeah. And like, professionals who are out getting themselves hired are still learning all the time. But, I do get this, like, there's this idea where there's a kind of a threshold. Okay. I've determined that is going to be much harder than I thought to match the front profile here. I'm gonna have to make some painful concessions with this. Painful in the sense like it's gonna bother me how it doesn't quite match the front view as well as I'd like it to, but it's hard for editing. Editing like written work. Ah, video editing. Yeah, I know a bit of that. Mainly to make funny memes and whatnot. One or two of my video edits are used as stickers on the Hollow Stars fan Discord, and other stuff I've made is used as. That's the extent of my clout in the fandom space, is that a good number of my edits are in use by various fan discords. So, yay. Yeah, I've got cred. I've got 2 million power in Age of Origins. Oh gosh, those commercials. Yeah, Hollow Stars. That's kind of like a long pipe dream for me. The odds are rather stacked against me, but you know, you don't pursue a dream under the assumption that you're probably not going to make it. It's not a good way to handle it. Oh. I hope the Holostars are continue to get the support they deserve. They do deserve it. And that's the other thing, like, if I become a male VTuber and my aspirations are to join a agency, there are not a whole lot of good options for male VTubers right now. Prison Project used to be an option, technically. But they shut down. Niji Sanji, well, yeah, they're not an option. They used to be. When I'm thinking of my pipe dream, Niji Sanji used to be an option, but so yeah, it leaves Cover Core and maybe there's like First Stage Productions and Globy, I believe. But there's like, you know, there's a league of difference between them. You know, not to like dismiss their potential and what they do, but it does highlight how your options are the biggest dog on the block. Your options are just one of the biggest. Oh yeah, Nexus. Well, no, I would not have wanted to join Nexus, like in the slightest. But yeah, I guess they technically were. I was just browsing streams once and I clicked on the stream and I didn't realize that AniLive would announce to the VTuber that I entered their stream and they said hi to me and I'm like, oh crap. I gotta say hi now. I didn't want to be in a battle royale with other passionate content creators. Like those are my people, essentially. I didn't want to fight them. Maybe I do straighten out Pina's hat. Tip's hat. My lady. My lady. I'll try to see if I can make this look correct on her head. No, of course not. I did this because it appears tilted back on her head. So I'm in a bit of a conundrum right now. I did use the side view for scaling. Like, that was the main source of scaling, because this looked too, like, painted on. Like, not to scale. Even though this is how her hat appears on her model, because the front view is how her model looks. It didn't quite work in the 3D space, which is why I used the side view as reference, but that's caused a conflict between the way her hair is depicted from the front and how it fits here. I'm going to have to make another concession here. Sacrifice a bit of pure accuracy for the sake of making this work. I also kind of wanted to make a Brogan model. And I had this sort of idea that when Pina would present this, show off this 3D model, debut it, once I give it to her, if or when that happens, I would use... If she needed technical support, I would use like the Broquin model to stand in for that, and if anything needed to be demonstrated on stream. You completely, yeah, the front view is what I should go for, but it kind of is. Like, the hat's a bit taller than the front view indicates, but it doesn't look wrong. Like, yeah, it doesn't look wrong. And it's relatively easy to fix if, yeah, the only, oh, but it's less so about the hat right now, because the hat's correct as far as where it connects to the head. It is as correct as I could get it. The issue is because this part, wait, I gotta hide her again. This tuft of hair, or this strand, this what do you call it? Tail of hair? This bunch of hair right here goes behind her ear, and it just kind of slips under the hat. My reference, where is it? Front two? No, hatless. There we go. It goes behind her ear, but then goes under her hat at the very apex of it. Oh wait, that actually might be a good way to look at it. So yeah, the side of the hat is right above her ear, but the strand that goes under the side is a little bit behind it. That's the problem right there. Okay. That is the confounding part of this. It's that is it called a rope of hair? No, that's just literally a rope made out of hair. It's not a figurative rope. It's a literal rope. But yeah, this bit of hair is physically 3D wise farther back than it is depicted in terms of reference points. Also, he drew Reno Tuna did draw where Pina's ear would be. So, or is it this one? No, I've accounted for that one. Because that's this. Which is also this right here. This is separate. This is part of where it goes back. And I have to use the side references for this because the front only tells me so much. Ugh, my head. I want to bring it out again, but then... Stare into her eyes. Her lips used to be red. What happened to that? Pina, where's skin? Oh yeah, there are Anya entries because as a fun little side project, wait, PNG and PNG1? What? Never mind. Okay, I guess I didn't. I'll have to paint her lips later. Hold the phone. Why did I join this part of her? Why did I join her? No, wait, that's because I have her. Why did I join her lips together like this? They need to move. Heck am I doing? Uh-oh, I made her into that one yokai, the slit-mouthed woman. There we go. Hi, pen pals. Con Pina. Wait, or is it Oha Pina? No, it wouldn't be the bottom lips. It would be the, yeah. Oha Pina. Aye. Let's see. This is its own UV fade. Oh, we don't want that to be that big. Make her lips green. So if this might give you a better picture of how UV mapping works if I move this around. So you see how this right here is the same shape as this. So I'm going to hide the highlights, but as I move this around, you can see how the picture changes. It's like a different viewpoint. Move it over this white space, it's white. If I move it over her eyes are textured, you can see the eyes there. That's her eyelashes and eyebrow, which I just copied and pasted from her model. Yeah. Yeah, you're the VTuber. See, that's what I was also thinking would be really funny, is that I introduce, like, when I finish this, I like introduce it to everyone by using it myself, and to introduce it to, like, say, like, as Pina, as the 3D model I made of her, I go, "Hi everyone, I finished this model." It's like it's my, it's my sonorous baritone coming out of this what looks like Pina. So Pina would get a kick out of that. I go up and go, "Oh hi, Pina." So yeah, I can reuse the blush color. Rotated 45 degrees. I can reuse the blush color that I used for her cheeks. And if I move in this part of her lips, just like so, I can bring a bit of color to her lips. Not entirely accurate to her actual color, but like I said, I've taken a few shortcuts with this model. There we go. Just about like that. No, not like that. Move this over a bit. Hack job, jerry rig. That's another good word to describe what I'm doing here. Yeah. There we go. What did I do that one time? Oh yeah. I'm gonna save for now because I have made progress. I did a joke one time where I made Pina's hat taller by let's see, selected this face to this face and this. Yeah, there we go. And I gotta select the compass emblem. I'm pretty sure that's what it is. It's a compass. That and that. Oh. And that. And that. And that. Yeah. Oh, and I gotta select the whole stash as well. There we go. Isometric view. I Doug Dimmadome her hat. Yeah. Oh gosh, it's late. I said I'd stream for like an hour or so, and this has ended up being like 3 hours, almost. Well, I've made a bit of progress on her hair. Little tweaks elsewhere. I did not mean to rhyme, but I have this odd habit of accidentally making neat little rhymes. But yeah, I think I'll stop for now. It's been good. Thanks for talking to me. Yeah. Well, you have a good one. And yeah. See you around, Derp Lord. Okay, let's see. How do I do this? Yeah.